You're listening to the Never Heard of It podcast,
a Night Shift Radio original. Every week we bring you the good,
the bad,
the weird,
and lesser known streaming movies.
Hit subscribe for new episodes every Thursday and Sunday. So Caleb, do you know what makes me sad?
What makes you sad, Michael?
Bad vampire movies.
Oh, but what about sad vampire movies?
Those make me happy. Because a good vampire movie should be sad.
Yeah, well,
I mean, Louis from Interview with the Vampire, he is a sad person. He has a sad story. And I feel like it's a really good story. Nosferatu has a very sad story. He just wants to be loved and not get a tan.
Not get a tan. I hate you.
That's the plot of Nosferatu. Tell me I'm wrong. I'm not.
Oh, man. Not a movie, but like Del Toro's The Strain, which was a series of 3 books that got turned into a really bad, I think, FX show, was not supposed to be sad. It had some sad elements, but it was supposed to be scary.
It was supposed to be scary, yeah. I mean, isn't that the one with the little girl in the future?
That's The Passage.
Oh, that's The Passage, yeah.
Passage, which I don't think the primary emotion you're supposed to feel is not sadness, although there is a significant degree of sadness. I would say that is a solid theme. So that's a point in your favor.
Okay, I'll take it. Mark it. Point.
Dracula 2000.
I mean, it was sad that movie got made. But I mean, Dracula 2000 is another example. He is sad. He is sad because he comes
sad
back
because he's Judas.
Yeah, so he comes back into the world and he turned on his best friend, and I don't know. So I'm talking about the movie Day Shift that just came out on Netflix about a week ago, and
that's the one with Snoop Dogg, right?
Snoop Dogg, yeah. I mean, Snoop Dogg really is the best part of this movie, but it's another one of those movies where he's just Snoop Dogg.
I love because, I don't think Snoop Dogg's ever going to be anything but Snoop Dogg, no matter what character you call him in the movie.
Right.
This is not his first vampire film either.
No, I think he was also in Vampire in Brooklyn, but I think he was in...
What else called? Let's get it to load because it was a while back.
Yeah.
I just looked this up a few days ago because I was talking to someone about... Oh, yeah, that other vampire movie that Snoop Dogg was in. I need to scroll faster because this was much farther back.
Oh, way back in the day, back in his NWA. Which, by the way, for our upcoming episode, we're covering a movie called Bad CGI Sharks. And in the movie, at one point, one of the characters calls the police, and he basically he monologues to the police, and he's like, "Well, you're no help at all." And he's like, "Man, the police are bad. If only somebody like NWA, maybe we should have listened to NWA this whole time or something." It was a great reference. Very, very funny.
That would be 2001's Bones.
Right.
And I feel like there probably was another one, but that's definitely what I was thinking of was Bones from 2001. So again, not Snoop Dogg's first vampire weekend.
Hey. So here's the thing. I fucking love vampires, right? I love vampire things. I love vampire movies, vampire TV shows. First Kill, it was terrible. It got canceled, by the way. It deserved to get canceled. But I still freaking love to watch it. Also, there was the originals, Vampire Diaries, Legacies. I freaking loved Legacies. Wasn't too keen on Vampire Diaries or the originals. I think it got a little too brooding, whereas Legacies was a little more fun. TV series, obviously True Blood is one of my favorite series of all time.
Girl Walks Home Alone at Night.
Awesome and sad. That's a very sad story.
I don't remember it being sad.
Let Me In, sad, little girl, vampire. She finally finds a friend, but then everybody comes after her. John Carpenter's Vampires, sad, even though it's James Woods. Fuck James Woods. James Wood loses all of his friends. All of his friends die because a vampire basically takes them out one by one. All vampire stories are inherently sad.
Vampires are a sad monster, aren't they?
They really are. They're like... but I think that's where you get the whole theme of vampires being very emo, is because all their stories are like, I'm immortal, but I'm sad about it. You know, like that's basically the plot of every vampire movie. Like Twilight's a really great example because he's like, you don't understand. My soul is destined to go to hell. Be like, motherfucker, you won't ever find out. You are literally immortal. Like, who gives a shit about your soul at this point? You are never going to die.
Yeah, I mean,
why are you worried about hell?
At the very least, you have a long time to wait.
Right. I mean, like his dad is like 500 years old. He's already like almost 200 years old. Like,
how long
what are
have
you
you
worried
been
about
17?
hell for? A while. Like, wait, so you're not 17, but you are totally hitting on me right now, you freaking pervert.
I got you, motherfucker.
Okay.
Billy the Kid versus Dracula.
Yeah. All right. All right.
I knew I'd find one.
All right. Which, by the way, throwback. That was our very first episode
Very
ever.
first.
Yeah.
And that, friends, if you were not with us in the beginning and maybe haven't caught the reference throughout the years, all 4.5 of them so far, that is the day that we learned that the most effective way to use a firearm is to simply throw it.
You know, and so here's the thing about the Day Shift. So I'm going to spoil a little bit about Day Shift, but I mean, I'll be honest, it's a very typical vampire film, like vampire hunter film. So like, it's not really, you know, anything special. He never throws a gun at someone, but he does shoot them a lot with guns. And I think, you know what? That's probably why the majority of the film happens the way it does, is because he should have just thrown the gun.
You should just fucking throw the gun, man. Like,
yeah.
You're never going to kill a vampire with a gun unless you throw the gun.
Yeah. Yeah. So this movie was really bad. It was very poorly written. I like Jamie Foxx, but Jamie Foxx has gotten to the point where he plays Jamie Foxx in movies so much so that like when he's acting in a movie and like, he's like, oh, I just got to save my daughter. I'm like, I guess, like, I don't really know, man. Like they didn't really spend a lot of time building up the fact that he has a daughter. So like they had one scene together in the beginning and then the whole time he's like, I got to do this for my kid. And I'm like, I don't really care about you or your kid at all. Like you kind of suck. Like he doesn't redeem himself in any way. So like it kind of sucks the whole movie. And the one character who is good, who would have a really good story arc is kind of pushed off to be a secondary character. And that's Dave Franco, who I fucking love. Dave Franco is great. And it's very unfortunate that he's relegated to a secondary, like almost a throwaway character. Same thing with Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg is kind of a cool character, but he's kind of thrown away in the end. But he gets his comeuppance because, you know, Snoop D-O-double-G.
I just like, whenever I see that Snoop Dogg is cast in something like this, I get momentarily excited because I'm like, fuck yeah, Snoop Dogg. But then I remember that he's probably going to have like 3.5 minutes of screen time. And
that's about right.
It's going to be a letdown. But then but then he shows up and you're like, yeah,
Snoop Dogg. Yeah, he does have a very cool scene, which is really cool. But other than that, yeah, he's just in like one small part of the movie, which is good. So my mini review of the Day Shift is it's not great. I'll be honest, I think it's a total pass. If you really like cool fight scenes and stunts, this movie was directed by a stunt coordinator. If you really like fight scenes and stunts, there are some really cool like fights in the movie. Same stunt coordinator, he did like John Wick, one of the Fast and Furious movies. He did a couple of other movies like that. But like other than that, man, I think it's a skip. It was pretty rough to watch, I'll be honest.
The stills from IMDb make it look like it was filmed on like a sitcom set. Like it looks like it's filmed on the set of WandaVision or something.
It is just very generic Hollywood that it's filmed in. Yeah, so he did John Wick. He did, like, he was an actor in John Wick, basically a stunt actor in everything. But the guy's name is JJ Perry. But the writer for this movie is Tyler Tice and Shay Hatton. And Shay Hatton did both of the Army of the movies. He did Army of the Dead and Army of Thieves, which I didn't particularly care for. I thought both those movies were pretty bad. But I know a lot of people did like those.
I liked Army of the Dead a lot, and I wanted to watch Army of Thieves, and I have not yet, so I need to get around to that.
See, I didn't care for either of them, but I'm starting to think that I don't like zombie things anymore.
That's probably it, because you haven't liked anything zombie related that we've talked about in a while.
I haven't. It's true. And but he also did John Wick 3, which I loved John Wick 3, but I mean, the John Wick movies aside from the first movie are just like, I'm going to kill my way through the plot, and it's cool looking. And it's like, it is cool looking, Keanu Reeves. Like, I will take, John Wick 4 and 5. I don't even care if you say a word for the whole movie. It's just cool to see you do cool shit.
Yeah.
But that's the precedent, the precedent that John Wick has set. So yeah, Day Shift, pass.
So I've been on a little bit of a self-imposed media vacation.
Okay.
Not strict. Like I do, I'm still obviously watching films for the podcast. I watch a little bit of TV, but I'm trying to do a little bit more disconnecting, just because I felt like I just wasn't doing anything, but like I was working, then I was going and watching TV, and like there's nothing wrong with that. It's not what I wanted. And like, I think I've told you this before, but I've had this thought for several years of like, why don't I read as much anymore? Like I have tons of books and I keep buying them and I love them. And when I pick one up, I get really into it, but then I just don't read. And then I realize it's because when I was consuming like 3 books a day as a kid is because I wasn't distracted by literally anything else. Right. I'm like, all right, well, that means I just have to make time. So I've started making more time to either just, sit out on the balcony and just enjoy the nice weather, or to read, or both. I picked up a book recently by an author named Eason. Eason? I think it's Eason. Called How Rory Thorne Destroyed the Multiverse. Now, if anyone, on the off chance that Kay, you're listening, or if anyone out there knows Kay and has any concept of what they mean when they say multiverse, I would love an explanation, because this is like, it's not a multiverse story in the sense that like we've talked about. The author doesn't explicitly like explain anything about what this multiverse is. They just keep referencing it as the multiverse. They do have like they delve a little bit into like some quantum entanglement and quantum theory, stuff like that, with the way that they do space travel and stuff like that. So like clearly there's some thought into this larger world building. But the way that I would describe this is if you took Disenchantment seriously.
Okay. The show. Hey! Interesting.
The Matt Groening medieval fantasy with
on Netflix.
On Netflix. Disenchantment, which I fucking love. I love it. In fact, to the point where like once I made that connection in my brain, I just started imagining all of the characters who didn't really like, shouldn't have looked and probably didn't behave at all like the characters from Disenchantment, but I started picturing them as characters like the Princess Rory Thorne. I was picturing as Bean. Her closest advisor, who's a vizier, I pictured him as Adval. And of course, she has an annoying little brother. So I just pictured him as the annoying little brother from Disenchantment, Prince Derek.
So is this a good book, though?
It's a delightful film. Very much like there's space travel, there's war, there's palace intrigue, there's spy shit, and then like there's magic. There's like this basically like math science based form of magic that people practice, and like most like humans and like most other alien races they've encountered do actually think of it as more of a science, but
like alchemy-ish, but not the
there
gold
actually
part
is
of it.
like alchemy in this as well. So there's alchemy and arithmancy. So arithmancy being like being able to manipulate like energy and numbers and like electronics. Like they talk about like hacking these like quantum computers with arithmancy, or like disabling the spy cameras and stuff like that. Alchemy is more of like a physical science / magic in this, not like lead to gold, but like manipulating matter. So really, really interesting way to approach that. And without spoiling anything, there's a whole bunch of adventure, and then in the end, she goes off to become presumably a space pirate of some sort. It's going to be a series. There's 2 so far. I'm looking forward to reading the second one. I don't like to read a series back to back though, because then it feels like I'm just reading one giant book and I get burnt out. Yeah. But I'm looking very much forward to how the multiverse got its revenge.
That is pretty exciting. I'm excited to hear more about this because,
and I think it like I'll be curious to see how the rest of the series go, but I think it would work really well on the screen. The only reason I hesitate on that is because it does feel so much like Disenchantment that like maybe it shouldn't be.
Maybe it shouldn't. Yeah, it'll probably be different enough.
But in our late evening, like when all is said and done, it's too dark to read, and we don't want the lights on, and we're not ready for bed yet, and it's time to brain off. We have still been watching some TV. We recently finished the entirety of Disjointed, which was a Netflix show about a cannabis dispensary in LA, starring Kathy Bates.
Oh, awesome! I love Kathy Bates.
Just dumb, goofy. I'm not gonna Trucco, Michael Trucco, who was Sam Anders in Battlestar, is in it as well.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's fun, stupid. I don't know if I recommend it or not. It's there, but remember how I told you about when we were on our trip a couple weeks ago, and I stumbled across that show, the 100-Day Dream House or whatever, where they do groundbreaking to finish 100 days. Netflix has a show called Instant Dream House.
Okay.
And it stars Danielle Bates. Is that her name? From Orange is the New Black, and the Peacemaker. The Invisible Bone. I think it's the same.
Yeah,
actor.
Abidio. Yep.
Yeah. Yep. Danielle Brooks. I knew it was a B. So Danielle Brooks is the host, and she has a team of designers and carpenters, etc. And then so that's the core team that does all the planning and whatnot. And then there's a large crew of 250 people. They get nominated Queer Eye style.
Okay.
They get the family out of the house, and this crew just shows up literally 12 hours, 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. They renovate the entire fucking house in a day.
That's amazing.
It's insane. It's really fun to watch, and it's definitely has the tearjerker elements like Queer Eye. It has that same kind of energy.
They come home and they're like, oh, my house. Yeah.
And some of the people are annoying, as is often the case, but a lot of them are just
people in general. But
a lot of they're just really, really genuinely good people that have spent so much time giving to their community that they've neglected their own homes and lives and whatnot. It's fun, and just to see the things that they pull off in a day. I have said for so long, without all of the bullshit hurdles and fucking around, so many construction projects could get done so much faster than they do.
Yep.
And also does demonstrate on the flip side of that exactly how fucking hard some of this stuff is. They pre-built an entire bathroom and brought it in on a flatbed and loaded in fucking Jurassic Park style, the raptor cage.
Yeah, that's
an entire
kind of awesome.
Bathroom. They pre-built a kitchen and brought it in as two separate walls and installed it through a hole that they got. Fucking brilliant shit.
That is wild.
Yeah. But speaking of trips, you just took a trip, didn't you?
I did. I took a little trip, and we just went to MatsuriCon, which is an anime convention in Ohio. It was a 3-day convention. My daughter and I went. We went so all awesome. 3 days. We did different outfits every day. So on Friday, I was variant Loki, as I am often.
I loved that. And I loved that you ran into another Loki variant.
I ran into Gator Loki, which is pretty awesome, which on the next day, he was dressed up in a suit as President Loki.
Nice.
So he was Loki every day as well.
That's awesome.
So on Friday, I was Loki, and my daughter was Nezuko from the anime Demon Slayer.
Okay.
And then on Saturday, there was actually a very large My Hero Academia group photo shoot and meetup. So for that day, we did our My Hero Academia cosplays. I was the teacher, Shota Aozawa, who was a racer head. And then Juniper was Toga, Himika Toga, which is one of the villains. It's one of her favorite cosplays to do.
Neat.
And it's one of the villain characters. And then on Sunday, we did another My Hero Academia theme. I was Deflated All Might or Weak All Might. because he is in the show. For those of you that don't watch My Hero Academia, he is a character who is this really huge, like the size of the Rock, like buff big guy. But the secret is way back in his prime, he was in a really large battle and somebody broke and shattered his ribs and basically destroyed his insides. So now, when you see him as big, strong All Might, he's like flexing the entire time, like, sucking in his gut and holding it in. But he normally looks like me, where he's this very skinny white guy and he's all deflated looking and, his hair is all like down instead of all up and cool looking. So I was deflated All Might, and she was one of the students from UA High School in the My Hero Academia show called Ochako Uraraka, or Uravity.
I love it. I
great cosplays.
Seeing the photos of just wonderful cosplay from both of you and from the people that you shared photos with. I fucking love the art and the love and dedication that people put into that. It really is such a fucking cool craft that people do.
It really is. It was such a cool time. And so there were a lot of Genshin Impact voice actors there as well. Yeah. So that was kind of a cool thing. So because of that, there was a lot of Genshin Impact cosplayers, which was awesome. I snagged a couple of photos of a few of them. We ended up missing the Genshin Impact photo shoot because it happened roughly at the same time as the My Hero Academia one. Mm-hmm. So I kind of missed the opportunity to kind of go in and take a photo of all the group of people because we were busy with our own photo shoot. Yeah. But it was really cool. So there was a lot. There was also a few My Hero Academia voice actors. Well, they overlap. A lot of the Genshin Impact voice actors were also English actors for a lot of other anime and video game stuff.
Makes sense.
But it was a really, really cool event. We were in Columbus, Ohio the whole weekend. We did actually end up walking around the hipster area of Columbus, which is called the Short North.
Yes.
Which was an awesome area. Really, really cool shops. There was a macaroon shop, a lot of bars and restaurants. So Juniper and I didn't really get to do.
Yeah.
She's only 10, so it's not like we could go out drinking or anything, and I don't drink. So there was that.
Was so close to just hopping in the car and be like, what's that, like 8 hours? I can do that.
That's not bad. It was about 6.5 for me. Yeah, so you could totally do it. Oh man, that would have been great because we had a lot of time to kill. The event. Yeah, but it was cool. It was a really great event. I was really excited to be. This was one of the largest anime conventions that I've ever been to. I've been to Comic-Con, so I've been to large conventions before, but this was Juniper's first large convention. We went to a smaller one that was at RIT, the Rochester Institute of Technology, earlier in the year.
Yeah.
And that's when she was like, I want to go to one of these every weekend. I was like, okay, well, calm down. She's like, no, but really, can we go to more conventions? And we went to this one, and it just blew her mind because it was huge. I mean, there was thousands of people. Like 90 or 95% were wearing masks. I was very appreciative of that. There were a few instances. There was actually a really cool thing. There was this photo booth set up with a professional photographer and lights and backdrops and everything. And you basically paid $7. They took your photo in your cosplay and then emailed you the photo for $7. We did it Saturday and Sunday. I wish we had did it Friday, but I was like, no. We'll do it on Saturday. But after, like, in retrospect, I was like, man, we really should have done it Friday too. But what a cool concept. And you could do like group photos, and basically you just walked up and then they would be like, snap, snap, snap. You went through and picked the one you like, and you basically paid $7 for all the ones you liked. It was awesome. What a great business model for those like conventions, just to have like a good professional photo setup for your cosplay.
Yeah. I'm so stoked that you're getting to do that together. Like that's I love that she's been so passionate about it. It just makes me so happy.
She's like on the drive home, she was on her phone looking up other cosplays, outfits she could do and buy. And I was like, let's get ready for whatever the next one is. Let's do it.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But for you guys, the next one for us is going to be Bad CGI Sharks. That comes out this Sunday, brand new episode. So, hey, if you're watching this episode on YouTube, hit subscribe if you haven't already. We have brand new episodes come out every Thursday. Next Thursday, we're actually going to be joined by Casey and Todd from the Superpod Hero Cast, and we're going to do a She-Hulk recap. So it'll be episode 1 of She-Hulk, because episode 2 will actually air while this episode comes out. So it'll be episode 1 of She-Hulk recap and kind of a review, and we'll be chatting about that. And then as the weeks go on, one or other or both or maybe none will join us again for a recap of She-Hulk. So we're pretty excited about that. And it's going to be really cool.
both for the show and for them to join us.
It is going to be good. And this is all leading up to the Superbody Hero Cast 5th season, which drops on September 16th. They're coming back. Yeah. So there it is, everyone. Thanks a lot for listening. Check out our brand new episode this coming Sunday, wherever you listen to podcasts. And hey, thanks a lot, everyone. And, as always, make sure to share with 100,000 of your closest friends.
Like, we're keeping track. And like, Steve, we see, thank you. We see that you did it, and we appreciate you.
Appreciate that.
Everyone else, be like Steve.
Be like Steve. Yeah. I've got a list. It's you can't, it's off camera, but you can't see it, but we've got a list and we're checking it.
Michael's Santa Claus in this shit. So like, if you want a good Christmas episode,
or you're going to get another Christmas Evil if you don't watch or sleigh bells if you don't watch your mouth.
I don't want it.
So there it is, everyone. Thanks a lot for joining us, and we will see you Sunday.
Bye.